Riley here?
Red alert!
Does the theory that joy will turn into love and Inside Out 2 really make any sense? Well, right off the bat, we'll tell you that the answer is yes. And not only that, it can happen in more than one different way, which we've discovered and we'll tell you all about if you stick around till the end of this video. The relationship between joy and love. First off, we all know that joy was the first emotion to emerge in Riley's mind, and that happened for one simple reason, because she recognized the first people she saw, her dad and her mom. More than that, she actually loved them even before coming into the world, for the simple reason that they already loved her before she was born. When a baby is in the mother's womb, some studies suggest that they get used to hearing the mother's and father's voices, so when they are born and hear those voices again from the outside, the baby recognizes them and automatically associates them with the 9 months spent in the mother's belly. This actually happened to all of us. So, Riley's mind immediately produced the emotion of joy to express the feeling she now had after seeing the people who were responsible for her existence. So, we can definitely say that joy is closely linked to the feeling of love that Riley felt for the people who already loved her even before she was born. Thus, we can say right from the start that joy and love are two closely related feelings, which indicates that they are naturally very, very close emotions. But you might be wondering, what about sadness? It came right after. Yes, sadness came and manifested through Riley's baby crying. All babies cry when they are born, and that's actually important. Before leaving the mother's belly, none of us had ever breathed through our noses before. Everything was done through the umbilical cord. But when we come out into the scary outside world, oxygen enters our lungs for the first time, and, according to doctors, as babies we feel a burning sensation and pain, which causes the first cry. In other words, crying is proof that the baby is breathing. That's pretty cool. Which, in a way, makes, as we saw in the first movie, sadness a really necessary emotion. But speaking of love, sadness also has a connection with it, as we'll explain later in this video. With the second Inside Out movie, it became clear that emotions can arise in other ways as well, which is directly related to the possibility of love emerging as a new emotion. The emergence of new emotions like love. When joy emerged, it was something automatic. After all, Riley was just a baby. She didn't know joy to be able to create it, which means that emotions, like all others, are something that is already in human programming. So if we were to choose the original creator of emotions, we could say it would be Riley's brain. In other words, it would be the big boss. While Riley's brain is the boss of all emotions, our boss is each one of you. If you want to join the Channel Boss Squad, just click on the subscribe button down below, if you're not already subscribed. Returning to Riley's mind, the detail is that the brain works according to the strongest sensation the person feels. For example, in the case of anxiety, we didn't see it in any other person's mind in the first movie, and maybe we won't see it in anyone else's mind besides Riley's. Which could mean that although everyone feels apprehensive about the future, the emotion of fear might be enough to deal with it in these other characters. But in Riley's mind, this anticipation of what might happen in the future is so great that the brain, or rather the boss, decided that it would be necessary to create and personify a new emotion just to deal with this feeling of uncertainty. Hence the explanation of the emergence of anxiety as a completely new emotion distinct from fear, even though they resemble each other in some ways. I even think they would be a couple that would match a lot. But the question is, could the same thing end up happening with love? Yes, that's possible, but we don't think it's going to happen. Exactly because of what we said at the beginning of the video. Joy and love are emotions completely interconnected since Riley's birth, which brings us to the point that emotions can transform. That's right, what you heard is true. It's proven that emotions can change form even though it's not common. To understand this better, let's dive into the minds of people who aren't Riley. As we discussed in the video about Inside Out trivia, the leading emotions in people's minds can vary. In the mind of Riley's school's popular girl, fear is the leading emotion, while in the girl who works at the pizzeria, it's disgust. But when we look into Gary's mind, the bus driver, we see that the leading emotion is original anger, since he's the one at the control center. However, next to anger, we notice that all the other emotions have actually transformed into versions of anger, and we can tell who they originally were by their colors, as we have a yellow, green, lilac, and blue anger, which are the original colors of each emotion. However, at some point in Gary's life, they underwent some kind of transformation and became the same emotion, which means that yes, emotions can undergo changes over time. Of course, until now, we haven't seen any emotion transforming into another different emotion, but this shows that yes, it can happen. So, it's not impossible for joy to evolve and become a new, even more complete emotion that has been related to her from the beginning, which would be love. If this happens, we might see Joy completely changing, including her color, her hair, and the color of her eyes, becoming more pinkish and wearing a pink or red dress instead of yellow. That would be simply amazing! The detail is that among emotions, it's not just joy that is related to love. There's another emotion that has everything to do with this possible new emotion. This could even end up generating something completely unprecedented, which would be the combination of two emotions. If you imagine that the other emotion directly linked to love is sadness, you're absolutely right. But how, you might be wondering? We'll explain. Normally, love is always associated with happy moments, so it's clear that joy is the emotion most associated with love. However, this same feeling can also end up making us feel sad at times, and I can prove it. For example, if someone you love is sick or suffering, what will you feel? Exactly, sadness. Or if you happen to like someone a lot, but the person doesn't like you back in the same way, even if it's just for a while, it's completely natural to feel a bit of sadness due to the feeling of unrequited love. Do you see that even though love is such an important emotion and such a beautiful feeling, there is indeed a chance that because of it, at times, we feel sadness? But even so, love is something that is very much worth it. And if there's something or someone you love in this world, comment down below, #ILove. After all, love can be found everywhere. So, as love is an emotion that navigates between the two main fields of joy and sadness, who knows if we wouldn't end up seeing sadness and joy kind of merging and becoming a single new emotion. Just imagine how awesome that would be. It would literally blow your mind. Of course, for that to happen, the big boss, which is Riley's brain, would need to think that this now would be the best solution for Riley's life. And if there's something that could end up being the trigger for this to happen, it would be Riley falling in love. As we mentioned, Riley has felt love since she was born, so joy emerged. Therefore, our protagonist already knows what love is and how it works. But now, in Inside Out 2, Riley will be entering a new phase of her life, and she'll start experiencing new feelings and sensations that naturally happen during adolescence. And of course, at some point, we'll see Riley becoming interested in someone. And if the person also becomes interested in her, there's a great chance they'll start dating and over time fall in love. This would be exactly the right moment for the emotion of love to finally emerge once and for all in Riley's mind. And it would be the time when joy could evolve and become love. Or who knows, even sadness and joy could unite and from then on be a single emotion representing both feelings, and now also responsible for guiding Riley's sensations about the new condition of feeling in love. So, if Jordan or some other guy makes Riley feel this way, it's quite likely that this theory will become reality and we'll see another emotion appearing in Riley's life. And we can't say it will be a new emotion since our protagonist has known what it is to love and be loved since birth. It just needed the feeling to become even bigger and stronger for the brain to think it would be time to have an exclusive emotion to deal with all this, just like it did when creating anxiety. I don't know about you, but if this happens, I think it's amazing! This is the theory that makes a lot of sense, saying that there is indeed the possibility of joy turning into love throughout the movie, or maybe even sadness and joy uniting and ending up becoming love in Riley's mind. Whether all this will happen, we'll find out as soon as we watch Inside Out 2. So, I'm eagerly waiting and counting the days to see this movie that promises to be incredible. In the meantime, to keep you entertained, we've selected these two amazing videos that you can watch and have fun with us. Just choose and click on whichever you prefer. Thanks!